So open up Roblox Studio. So this is like the last day of this programming webinar. So I'm gonna try to teach you guys data stores. I don't really use data stores that often, so I'm not sure if it'll work, but hopefully it will, because there's really nothing else I can teach you from the leaderboard thing. So next thing is data stores. So what are data stores? So data stores, it allows you to save data from like anything. So like this leaderboard that we have in here, like I'll just test it out right now. It'll allow the cash that you get to be saved, right? So let's say I have 30 cash. When I leave and rejoin, I'll have 30 cash, right? If I leave and rejoin now, I'll end up with 0 cash because I don't have a saving system. So data stores helps in saving that. But first, we have to make the variables. So go back to the leaderboard script. This script, the cache script, you don't need that. This one, it's not related to data stores, so you can close that. Then we want to make DS, that's short for data store, or you can write data store equal game get service data store service. Now we want to make a store, right? And this store will be the is how the data is stored. So it's not stored in the service itself, it's stored in a store in the service. So let's make a local cache store. You can name it whatever you want, right? But you have to make sure it's the same name you're going to be using, because if you change the name of the data store, all the data is going to be gone because it's a new store. Unless you change the name back to that old store name, then it'll go back. So like let's say I do data store get data store, and let's name it cache store. If you want, you can name it cache store 1. Let's say you want to change it so everyone loses their cache, then you can like change the cache store 2 or anything like that. But I'm gonna leave it a cache store, right? And now so we go into the function of the leaderboard. Before we move on, any questions? Okay, no. So let's make a variable for the thing we want to save it to. So cache store, right? Let's make saved cache, right? So we have local saved cache. And let's see. So I haven't used data stores in a while. So not I have to take some time to like remember what I'm supposed to be doing. So hold on. Okay, so let's set it for nil, right? Then what we want to do is to save the data into the thing. So not a thing, into the store, right? So let's do we actually we don't need this variable yet. We'll make that later. So cache store get async, right? And then player dot user ID. And then so we have the what is get my sorry about that. But what you may be asking, what does get async mean, right? So what get async means is that it gets the data, right? And if it has data, then it'll load that in. If not, it'll just kind of skip it, right? And how we save data is by using set async, right? So we don't have we can make a variable for this instead. So local saved cache equal cache store get async, right? And then after that, let's go down here and type in if saved cache does not equal nil. So that's what this little thing right here. So you can like press shift and go to the button right next to 1, and that's how you can add this in. That means it does not equal. But if you have this, that means it equals. So you always add this in front of it to make sure it says if saved cache does not equal nil, then we want to make the cache dot value equal to the saved cache. So yeah, we have the saved cache right here. So any questions so far? Okay, so now let's go past this if statement. Create a little function, but like we're not using this type of function where it says like local function leaderboard. We're gonna be using a function that doesn't have a name. So like points. No, sorry for that. Cache. Where is it? Yeah, save. The cache dot value. Right. So cache dot value dot change connect function new cache. Let's just call it that. So now we have new cache. Then we're gonna do. So we're gonna use the store. Cache store set async player not that player dot user ID, and then we're going to be using new cache right there. Hopefully this works. I'm not sure if it will. Yeah, but let's if it doesn't work, I'm gonna try something. Like let's check the output first. Okay, so doesn't yeah, the leaderboard is not there, saying leader stats not valid member of the player. Okay then, so let me go here. Let's try taking out this part. So take out the local, right? And that means so if we have that, we want to replace it so it has never mind, just leave it like that. And if it still doesn't work, we can try to do the other method. It doesn't work because yeah, see, sorry about that. I'm just not really I don't really use data stores that often, so I'm not sure how to do this. So let me first do the other method. So I'll just take that out. Instead of having this leaderboard function, I'm gonna have a game or not game. Let's do since we already have players. Players dot player added connect function, and we add a parenthesis at the bottom. Hopefully it does work. If not, I'm gonna try. Yes, it doesn't work. Yeah. You should probably be. You should expect to encounter all these types of stuff where it doesn't work. That's gonna be common. Like even now, I'm teaching this thing and I'm encountering problems. So let's see. Okay, so let's try doing it like without this right here. So let's check out the dot value. That could be why, because it could just be that I'm referencing a bit too much, so it won't change. But I don't think this will work either. Yeah, it doesn't work. So like if we go here, it'll say leader stats not a valid member of Sun Academy or your name, whatever it is. So I'm not gonna end this until I tell this is figured out. Anyways, this is really the last thing that's on the list. So I can spend some time trying to figure this out because there's nothing else I'm gonna be showing after this, right? So let me try to figure some things out. Okay, so for this type of thing, I did mention that you can use printing to debug some things, so that's what I'm going to try doing. So like after all of these stuff, so after this function is created, I'm going to type in print 1. And after like this line 2, print 2, print 3, print 4. So we have all of these, so after all those stuff are created, then print 5, print 6, then print 7. Let's see if it prints anything. If not, then that means there's something. So we got 1. So after that's so now we know where the problem is. It's after 1. So that means 1 is clear. So it means it's this right here. So it's a saved cache. Okay, so let's see what happens if we take that out. Let's also remove the print thing. We have to add the saved cache in somewhere else. So let's make the variable here. And it doesn't have the player. So let's see. We want to make it, if we want to make it so it's outside of this, then we have to use something else. So we can put the saved cache after this. Okay. Equals 0 or saved cache. Let's see. Then if we do that, let's try. It seems like the saved cache is the problem. Yeah, it still doesn't show the leaderboard. But see, sometimes Roblox Studio, it just doesn't print out the problem. It just only prints out this one thing, line 11. Doesn't say it's an error. And that after that, you kind of have to like figure the things out yourself. So let's try to figure this out. So we have the saved cache right here. Let's try to see what would happen if we remove this part and added it right here. So there we go. Now it shows the leaderboard. Let's see what happens. We get our cache. And also, I forgot probably the most important part. That's not probably not the reason it's messing up, right? But we have to make sure to go to game settings. Well, actually, I'm not sure if it's the reason it's messing up. It could have been the entire thing. So we have to go to security and press enable studio access to API services. So now that's enabled. Let's try to see what would happen if we move this right here. So let's try that. So let's press F5, run, play test. Okay, so I think that was a problem. So now there's a new problem, right? Let's try to go back and test it again. So it seems like there's a new problem. Yeah, it doesn't save. It says attempt to index number with changed. So now it's trying to see the dot changed, connect. Now let's try something else. So if the value is changed, let's try this. So just cache dot changed. Okay, so let's go here. We can collect the cache. And yeah, it does save. Okay, let's go to like 60. Let's see if it's exactly 60 when we enter back in. Yeah, it's safe. So yeah, that seems to be the problem. That's my fault. But yeah, you have to enable API services in Studio, or like by going to the game settings in order for data stores to work. I can't believe I forgot the most important part of the data stores. And yeah, that's why it didn't work. It wasn't the code, it was just that I didn't enable the data stores. So I'll just show you the code right here. So I'll send it in the chat. So that's the code for the data store. And the problem was that I didn't enable the API service. And also I did cache.value.change. It's just cache.changed. So it's not the value, it's just cash.change. And yeah, so you can set the value to that. It doesn't have to be 0. You can make the starting thing like 100. Okay, so let's see. It'll probably say I have the same amount. Yeah, I do. But now if I go and change the cache store to cache store 1, all the data won't be there anymore. Yeah, see, now I'm just starting off with 100 because that's what I set it to. So if I change it to 0 and change this to like cache store 2 and press test, I'll start off with 0 cache. So yeah, that's like data stores. If you have any questions, just leave it in the chat. Yeah, that's for data stores. We still have a little bit of time left, so I'm gonna like show you how to make the cache like duplicate itself. So you just need 1. Okay, so you need 1. Let's get like a couple of parts. Let's get 4. Okay, just make sure can collide is off for all of these parts. This isn't really like this isn't that necessary, but so I may or may not post the code in chat. Depends on if I can finish this. If I do finish it, then yes, I'll post in the chat. So let's just move this up right here. So let's move it right there. This will take a little bit of time, so I'm not sure if we have enough time. But before we do this, just make sure to press save to Roblox, right? So if you don't know how to already, and let's just get all these, not the cache part, just the parts. Let's name this to not locked. Anchor it. Turn off can't collide. Then anchor it. Then you want to turn off anchor. Okay. Then you want to move the cache to the service called replicated storage. So that's now we can't see it anymore, right? Because it can't be interacted with. It's like it went to a separate area. It's not in the workspace anymore, so we can't see it anymore. So that's what we're going to use. We're going to name these 1. So where's the name? Let's go find the name. I think I scrolled too down far down. Yeah, there we go. 1. Let's call this one 2, 3, 4. Now let's put them all in the folder. So we can select all of them, right click. You can press Control Alt G or just press this group as folder. So now it's a folder. Let's call it spawns, right? Now let's make a quick script for it. So we kind of have to be fast for this one. This is a bit more advanced. But this if we want like the cache to spawn randomly and like just spawn in, so it's not just lying there. And okay, so this is gonna be a bit complicated. So let's type this kind of fast. So let's make a replicate storage, local replicated storage equal game get service replicated storage. Let's make a start folder. So local start folder. I'm just going to start F equal game dot workspace, then wherever the folder is. So I'm going to do dot spawns, right? And then we're going to do get children. So it gets all of these. So it gets 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? And we're going to make the local cache equal game, not game. We already have replicate storage. Wait for child cache. Best to use wait for child than just dot for these type of replicated storage stuff, right? And then we're gonna make a local function. So random start cache as a parameter. Then we're gonna do local random R or like random result. So it'll be the start F. Then we're gonna use brackets. These are like to reference data stuff. I'm not gonna explain these like in depth because there's not much time left. So math.random 1 hashtag start F. There we go. So now it only gets 1 of them. It only does it like once. Let's do so we have 1 right there. Then we're gonna make it so the cache dot parent equal game dot workspace. Then we're gonna make the cache dot c frame equal random start random r dot c frame. Not sure if this will work with this part because I've just used this for like humanoid stuff like NPCs, right? So I'm not sure if this will work. Hopefully it does. If not, I'll probably just add like a humanoid root part to it. And then let's end it off with random start. Then we're going to be doing the replicate storage, wait for child. And then we're going to do, actually, we can just do cache since we already have that. So cache. Okay, so we just need, we can just change this parameter. So it says cache. I'm not even sure why I did this in the first place because we already have that. Let's see if it'll work. Are these all anchored? Yeah, they are. Let's see if it'll spawn it in or not. No, it's in the workspace, I think. It's not in the replicated storage anymore. All right, no, it is in the replicated storage. It was just never cloned. So game.workspace. So let's see. The parent is a workspace. So let's see what went wrong. Local random start F. Okay. Could be that there is no humanoid thing. So let's just add like a humanoid. Okay, so we have humanoid. I'm not sure if this can work with the cache, but like, okay, so there will be like another programming webinar at some time. So I'll probably just like finish this off at this time because I don't have enough time. So yeah, you can just delete this script. It's kind of useless for now. So move this back in the workspace. You can just delete these, delete that script. Yeah, so that's I just don't have enough time for this. So yeah, before we end, any questions? I'll also post the cache script right here. Yeah, and if you don't have any questions, you can leave. This is the last one for this week.